today.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome to another special edition of the Big Small Business Show. I'm Michael Avery, filling in for Alon Reyes again, and I hope you're managing to find a way to navigate this lockdown with a little under a week to go until we enter into level 4. You're almost there, and certainly the standout feature of the entrepreneurs and small business people that I've spoken to over the last few weeks is their burning desire to find some sort of opportunity in all of this chaos. Well, I've got in the Zoom room to talk about the specifics around the various tax relief plans that have changed and transmogrified and evolved into something completely different almost daily. I've got in the Zoom room Pete Faber, Senior Executive for Taxation at SAICA, the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants, the preeminent accountancy body in the country, and Dr. Sharon Smulders, Project Director for Tax Advocacy at SAICA. Thanks for joining us, guys. As I said, these things are very fast moving and they seem to be changing almost daily. Where we currently stand, Sharon, what tax relief is available for SMEs, taking the relief further beyond that was mentioned by the Minister last week?
Okay, well, what he's done is he's actually expanded on some of the measures that were there, and then he's also added on additional measures, which were very welcome. So if I have to start with the first two, which were expanded, the first one is the employees' tax relief that is provided to SMEs. At the moment, or as was previously, 80% had to be paid, the rest could be deferred. Now, with the minister's announcements, you only have to pay 65% of your employees' tax per month for the next 4 months, and 35% of that can now be deferred. And that deferral amount, that 35%, will be paid in 6 equal installments from the beginning of September. On the provisional tax side, not much has changed there. You're still going to have to pay your 15% for your first provisional payment instead of 50% of the amount, and 65% for your second provisional payment instead of the full provisional payment, the 100%. The only thing that has changed then, Pieter will chat to that a bit later, is the turnover level of the business that can actually access this relief. The other two that have changed is the employment tax incentive. That amount, remember there were 3 changes there. The first change was that they've increased the amount that is available for the employees' tax incentive. They gave an additional 500 Rand. That has now been pushed up to an additional 750 Rand per month per employee. So what they did there is they expanded not only the number of employees that can access it. So before it was only employees that were aged between 18 and 29 years of age. They expanded that now as well to employees that are 30 years and older than 30 and younger than 65 years of age. So those employees now also qualify with that additional 750 Rand. And the other last thing that they did on the ETI was to say that you can now get that reimbursement monthly instead of waiting 6 months to get that back. The 2 new ones that came in that are very welcome, that is the Sdl Holidays, your Skills Development Holiday, where you now don't have to pay Skills Development Levy. And this applies across the board. It's not just for small businesses. It applies for the months of May to August. No SDL, the employers do not have to pay their 1% share of the Skills Development Levy. So that is welcome cash flow relief, I think, for a lot of businesses. Yeah. The other one that they introduced is the Vat Refunds. They're now trying to speed up the payment of Vat Refunds. So generally, most small businesses have a 2-monthly submission period where they submit the VAT returns and then would either get a refund due or pay the amount of VAT due to SARS. They've now said that you can reduce that and submit your VAT return every single month and so get your refund quicker. If you do want to access this, you are going to have to, however, apply for this to SARS to request them to submit your returns monthly. And that after the 4-month period is over, that will then revert back and you will go back to your 2-monthly VAT return cycle. The other ones that they've introduced is that they've given relief, especially for larger businesses, for penalties for late payment of interest, late payment of your taxes. And Pieter will chat to this a bit later, but it's you still need to pay and submit on time other than what I've mentioned. Without incurring interest and penalties. But it's really good news that you can apply for that. That's the other thing, is you have to apply. It will be determined on a case-by-case basis.
But it is remarkable what can be achieved with the right motivation from the receiver. I don't want to come or derail the conversation too much into that point. When we come back, Pete, I'd like us to talk about what